Come on.
Welcome to Who Hit You. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm Roy.
I'm Vidush.
It's been a crazy week, man.
Yes, it has.
It's been just like this long, non-stop anxiety, just constantly.
I was cool until Tuesday.
We talked a bunch about
And then Tuesday, I just started eating all this food because I was sad. And then
Dude, I ate a bunch of, like,
I was eating. And
there was definitely a point where we were
cycle.
like, I'm just gonna eat what the fuck I want because it's fucking
We
nuts
literally
out there.
just talked about our weight goals.
Yeah, and we fucked them.
I've blown that up.
Fucked that whole thing
I've
up.
blown it up.
So, election was what, Tuesday? Tuesday
always.
If you listen to our last conversation, we talked about possibilities. If you haven't seen that, go check that out. So one possibility was a lot of these states are going to count day of voting, which usually leans more Republican. So the scenario was that you're going to see a bunch of red or the Republicans like take early leads.
Right, Trump early lead.
In a lot of these states, and then
as the votes are counted throughout.
because a lot of this votes are going to be mail ballots, and it's a surge of mail ballots. We've never had this many mail ballots. We've never had this many votes in general.
Because Biden has had the most votes of any candidate ever.
Yeah.
And Trump has the second most.
Yeah, so
And Trump has the second most.
which goes to show you this last 4 years of all these people talking all this shit about and trying to campaigns against Donald Trump to get Republicans to come back to the look how bad he is.
Man.
The Lincoln Project, all these
He
different.
has 68 million people.
Yeah, it didn't work. He got more Republican votes. It didn't fucking work.
Oh man,
It's so stupid.
it was crazy. Yeah, so I know I went to sleep Tuesday and I was like, Johnny Dollars got it in the bag.
I was hoping
like,
we were up till I think 11, hoping that we would get a result. I think it was halfway through the night.
I mean, I didn't think I knew I wasn't going to get a result just because people, the states were straight up saying, they were like, we are not going to finish today. A bunch of states were saying.
I was hoping for a
landslide so you could just know.
Election day.
Blue wave, right?
Not even this. I was just hoping that there was a result day of, so there wouldn't be this week-long wait and all this craziness. But to be honest, and again, if our last conversation about this in the last podcast,
It scared me a little.
I thought the polls were looking good, and I said if we just follow what the polls are saying, then he's gonna win. He's gonna smoke them.
Because you had added a standard deviation from last time.
And I thought that it's what the polls said, that he was gonna win 320, 315 to 350 electoral votes.
Right. And we never tried to convince each other, but we definitely agreed to disagree on the polls. Because I said the whole time I didn't believe them at all, and you were like, "No, I believe them." And with the standard
I'll never
deviation,
believe them again.
Yeah, it was but you were like,
So
"Well, with
wrong.
the standard deviation," and I was like, "Okay, well, that makes a little bit of sense." But they weren't even close.
I think 2016 they fuck up really bad. They're off a bunch. Trump just over. What's the word? He does well at all the polls, right?
Uh-huh.
And so they came out. I made a mistake. Here we made our corrections. My initial thought is all right, so they fixed their shit. These are professional people, But then they fucked it up again.
You know why? It's because some of the polls, because some of the polling happens before any of these votes happen, right? And some of the polling is them guessing what the voters care about. And they were trying to say that they cared about this, they cared about these issues and these issues, when really, now we know, voters don't care about what outrages you, what's outrage. Voters care about what affects them.
I think that
personally.
Yeah, I think these polls are definitely
Because here's the thing, Trump still had plenty of voters, right? But there was plenty of Republican voters that voted Republican down the ballot, but not for Trump, because they won enough seats that's proof that hey, We want all of our regular. We still have our values for the other Republicans. Just Donnie's running wild.
Yeah.
And the other problem with Biden winning now is that the establishment is not going to learn from this. This was way too close. This was way too close. Was he winning the popular vote by 4 million? But it's like, that's like a 4 points. That's what they basically consider it. Like 1 million is almost a point at that. I think it's a little bit less, so it's like two some points. And they projected a 10 to 13 point victory.
Yeah, I saw like 8 or something like that. But
that's on the electoral college. This is on the popular.
Oh, the
on
popular
the popular vote. Yeah.
I think.
That means you're 10 million.
How is somebody? How is he, who's? The pandemic, the civil
that's the funny thing.
Unrest in the country. Like, how is that? All these scenarios, you would think that there's no way he's gonna do this well. Like everybody else has to be fed up, but it's still that's razor fucking thin.
But that was the thing, because I remember that's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, okay, so I don't really understand what everyone else thinks, and that's all I thought about.
And I think it also shows that
what are they thinking? Because they're not thinking about the bad stuff that I'm thinking about when they're voting for Trump. They're thinking about the bad stuff the other side does, and the good stuff maybe Trump does, or maybe just the stuff that he shields them from.
Do you think that a lot of it is just culture war?
Yeah, and I don't know, man. Now, no, some of it is just also what they. So let's talk about Florida. Florida specifically lost a portion of the Cuban vote.
Latino vote in general, yeah.
Let's just call it the Masvidal vote. Okay,
yeah, for sure.
Masvidal goes hard Trump. They start dropping ads. He's repping Trump. He's talking at rallies for him. Masvidal is actually the king of Miami. So this is the specific county even we're talking about where he lost votes. But so also Trump has a lot of ties to that area. But he put the work in by saying when Biden said he was going to raise taxes, even though it wouldn't raise taxes for the people that voted for Trump, they don't understand that.
Yeah.
But that's what they care about, right? And Trump understood that's what they cared about in that area, and he attacked that. He didn't say anything about the Rona. He didn't say anything about riots. He didn't say anything about racial wars. You know what he said? I'm going to keep taxes down. We're going to pump the economy up in this area. And that's literally what swung the state. About. That's what swung the state.
What's up?
We got some breaking news.
It's not breaking news, but I was reading. It's all breaking news today.
It is.
I was reading one of the articles about the tax plan and how a lot of voters vote on taxes, right? Mm-hmm. So that's why you still have a ton of Republican voters, even though calm down, Bill, you make $40,000 a year, your taxes are never going to be high.
Yes.
But there was basically a breakdown that said the way that Trump's tax policy was pushed through, the way that it happened is, yes, in 2020 we saw our lowest taxes across the board, but by 2028, had it continued, you would be paying more than you paid in 2019.
Yeah. So this is also
across the board.
Yeah, a lot of those taxes, the corporations got taxes deductions that are permanent. And then everybody else, the middle class and below, they got their special. Their time runs up, and they go back to whatever it was before.
Yeah, but even him doing that tax plan is just a trick, because if he got reelected, they would readjust the tax plan to who knows what direction, right? So anything past 2 years is just you just talking and you're just looking good for somebody. In that way that he wrote it, he looks really good for the corporations. He also looks really good for the people, because in the first part he cut your taxes. So it's such an easy way to talk out of both sides of your mouth. But then again, that's just what proves people vote on what they care about. Now let's talk about how Donnie was acting. Okay, let's start on Tuesday. He's winning the game, right? He's winning the game, and it's 2:30 a.m. Eastern time, and he comes out. And
he does a press,
fat and happy. His hands are still greasy from eating waffles, and he comes out and basically he says, frankly, this is not basically. Paraphrasing, but not this part. He says, frankly, we've already won. But he wasn't pushing it as hard. Like, so I purposefully read both sides of the news because that's how I can tell if it's fake, because it's opinionized. If only one side's talking about it, then it's an opinion. When they're both talking about it, we can kind of find the truth. Well, one side was saying like, he declared a victory. He really didn't. I watched the whole thing. He basically says like, hey, I won. I kind of know it.
Like in his opinion, it's like, I think we got it.
Yeah, and then he's saying, and I'm going to prove it now. He was basically saying while he was ahead, he's like, we're going to count up these votes because I'm killing them. Like he was just ready. And then I wake up. My eyes were still... Yeah. And all I was... I just wake up. I'm election. And I was like...
Yeah, the first thing I looked at, too. What's the count? But that was crazy, too.
And then I'm seeing report... And I'm so wary of the news. Then they're, like, talking, like, how it's swinging his way and all this stuff. And I'm like, there's no way. I don't believe it. I wake up, get the kid going, start looking at the actual votes. And I was like, hey, they're a little closer. And if I don't listen to anybody and they stay the same, Biden would win. Because I called you. Because I was...
Yeah.
Right. Did you hear what's happening? Did you see? I was like...
You're pretty... you're tripping out a bit. I mean, I go to sleep and Trump's winning. And I definitely felt like concerned. And then I wake up and was it Wisconsin and Michigan are now like leaning blue. It flipped overnight. So it's like, okay, that's like feeling better. But then Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Georgia, Arizona, Nevada, taking a long time to count votes.
No, and so then I looked into this a little bit. So let's look at Arizona. Arizona always has taken 5 days to finish all their votes.
Really?
Have you known that? A bunch of these states are slow as fuck, dude. They've always been slow. There has been... So it became super political, but a bunch of the states who finished quickly changed rules so they could count ballots. Yeah. They wouldn't tabulate them, but they would load them to be tabulated right at time. That's how a bunch of states finished. In all those swing states, it became really political. So the rules got left the same for when they have to open the ballots. Which some of the ballots, like even if they got it on a day, they had to wait till the next day before they could even open them.
I think it was
ridiculous rules.
I forget,
absolutely ridiculous.
I forget what state, but like I believe the law or whatever the rules are, you can bring your ballot to the polling station and drop it off day of, and like it's still fine. And then as long as it's postmarked by the election day, then they'll take it up to like X many days after.
Yeah.
So there were still ballots coming in that like up until I think Friday was like we're taking ballots as long as they're like correct.
Right.
Up until that day. And then
actually, they were even recommending going and dropping your ballot off because you don't want to deal with the hassle of it getting delivered on the last couple of days. They were like, go take it and drop it off, even if it's going to be a mail-in ballot.
Which I think would be pretty cool.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
And like, what is fine is because it's in the day, then he's also just like, stop counting.
It's like stop counting in one state and then like...
He's like a child.
Keep counting in another.
You're playing hide and seek. And I'm getting close to 10, and he hasn't found a spot. And he's like, stop counting. Stop counting. I'm going to lose if you keep counting. He's just freaking out. And then they're like, bro, if you stop counting right now, you will lose. Yeah, like you can't do that.
Apparently, there was a report from one of his staffers that they had to, like, sit him down and say, like, you can't keep asking for this because you will lose. They had to explain that to him. He's like, understand it.
Yeah. Like teach him how elections actually work.
Because what's funny is like even if it's like through the day numbers get like it's gonna take too long, but numbers were getting calculated because there were some places Biden was leading that Trump flipped.
Yeah.
If you don't, there was actually places that got flipped the other way. But just because we are over 4 to 6 hours of time zones in America, I guess 8 or 12 if you include Alaska and Hawaii, but the votes keep switching over time, so he was like ahead in some places when he wanted it to stop, but it was flipping on the wrong side of the country so he was never getting it one way, which honestly is what I feel like is saving us from all that extra bullshit that you were talking about. Because you can't really say the votes were wrong because he was up at times and down at times. So you got to count them all.
But and it's also like what does
Like
it?
even if you go backwards to when he was saying stop counting then, he would still lose then. If you go farther back to when he would still lose then.
And
So
what also doesn't make sense in his statements is he's only talking about the presidential election. So it's like all the votes that are affecting me, then I'm going to say one thing, but don't worry about down ballot. That's still fine.
He started like naming specific counties. He was like, we should stop counting the votes over here. You should keep counting the votes over here.
I mean, he had a press
we're
conference.
Good over here.
What did he say? Basically, or maybe it was Twitter, but basically saying that as long as like election day and basically when he was winning, those are legal votes. And then ballots and everything pass is like basically past election day is like none of these count in his eyes. It's like these aren't real. Like this, you shouldn't be counting these. Is what he's saying.
What he want just because he was up at that moment, right?
Yeah, he's calling them illegal votes.
Yeah, because he's gone even. But no one's
I mean,
getting
he's a
his back.
dumbass.
No one's getting his back though.
No,
not a single person is getting his back. Just the crazies. And here's the other thing, like I was a little bit worried about when we talked about it last in a worst case scenario, that the idea of people getting violent about it.
That it was going to get crazy. The streets were going to get hot.
Right. And that's the thing I'm most excited about. Is like actually, hey, first of all, none of the Trumpers really want it. None of them really wanted to bang.
You don't think so?
No. You know who came out to bang? They came out to protest was a bunch of old ladies for him. They go to the polling station holding signs and stop the votes as they're catching the Rona. As they're all catching the Rona together, they're screaming and that's who's got his back. No one's coming out to shoot guns for him. Because the truth of the matter is like only a small portion of his is a psycho base. Most of the people that even voted for him, they're still going to work on Wednesday, not caring if Trump really got elected. Most of us know it won't absolutely change. Like we would have all been very sad if Trump, but we would have all done the show again next week and next week and next week. We'd have done everything. And that's what I'm excited about. Like he can play on the fears as much as he wants, but the truth of the matter is most of the people just want the votes counted because if it went Trump's, we'd be upset, but he's the president then. That's what we asked for. If that's what it counted, that's how I felt Tuesday night. I was like, well, that's what everyone fucking wants.
Yeah, and then
Then
it's been days of us literally just watching
3 or 4 states too.
Yeah.
It's just like all of y'all are so slow.
Yeah.
Why is Nevada so slow? Y'all have no votes compared to everybody. Pennsylvania is talking about 6 million votes. Georgia's talking about 5.5 million votes. Nevada is talking about 3 million votes or something.
I've never had to think about Nevada this much in my life, and I'm very upset I had to think about it this much.
And not only that, then the race was close as shit. What on Tuesday was 6,000 votes?
Yeah, Pennsylvania was like they were down by like 0.2%.
But that got close. At least I guess because I was thinking about it.
I think one point you texted me is like it's a 4,000 difference or something.
Yeah. No, 3,000 difference. It got smaller in Georgia where it was 1,300 different. In Pennsylvania, there was a point where it was 1,900 different. But that makes sense to me.
Georgia's like they only said that maybe there's a recount.
Biden was below, and he crossed. So there's this range where it's really close. Nevada was Biden is up, and Trump never took the lead. But it was always, I'm on your ass. I'm on your ass. So that really scared me. And in Arizona, it scared me because they kept... So you watched the AP polls. Let's address this real quick about how the news was calling it. Fox was really early.
Arizona, yeah. First one to call it.
Fox?
I would say they made a mistake.
Yes. No, but I mean in a lot of states. Which one to you was the most conservative?
AP.
Was definitely not because remember you were calling stuff before me. Even percentages, I was like, hey, this is off. Because I was checking your percentages with the state websites. I was watching all the state websites. The only one this is what's crazy. The only news source I checked, ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox, CNN, MSNBCs. I checked as many as I could. I checked the
I was
Guardian.
just on AP and like I think maybe 538.
No one went by the states counting. Not
It
one
was
of
just
them.
their own like.
They had their own projections. Everybody. They had up to the states, and the only one who did it was NBC. NBC said that they won't call anything until there's a 99.5% surety. So that means if there's 1,000 votes out and there's 1,000 votes difference, they won't call it.
Well, how crazy is it then that
Like-
Fox News is the first one to
Yeah,
rip it on
that's
Arizona?
crazy. But the
I mean,
other
Trump
thing-
had to then call him. Like,
He was mad.
He
was
called
so
him like,
mad.
"What the fuck is?"
Because that makes a problem for him. That's a big problem. That's 11 votes that you're calling early that kind of he feels like
Could turn the tide.
dampens voters want to go out there and vote also. When you hear your side's losing, people don't go out and vote.
But by then, all the polls are already closed.
Well, but also don't forget that Fox was the one who called
Right.
the 2000 election because they are more concerned about the breaking news than actually being factual, and so
I
it
saw
just continued that.
I felt like that played a role because it hadn't been this publicized for a long time.
But then, like, I feel
But-
like they, at the same time, they're
but
like,
bec-
"I don't want to do this again."
They were early, but they weren't really wrong much. But what I will say is they were super factual in the reporting. Like I was like, they have been so on the point right now. They're so like not about
Yeah,
politics. It's weird.
What's her name? McEnany, the press. What's her title?
Press secretary.
Press secretary.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. She went
that
on.
job sucks. That
Well,
job
for Trump especially, she went on and said some stuff on Fox News, and they were like checking her like on this, like that's not true. That's whatever.
I don't think it sucks. I don't think it sucks for Trump because
to be a press secretary for Trump.
you're allowed to lie. You can literally lie. You don't have to tell the truth. You could just say you're wrong. I don't believe you.
I think-
when people say that.
I think it sucks to be the press secretary if you have some type of idea that like I don't want to just.
If I don't want to lie,
Like,
yes.
I don't want to.
Your job is
like if you have
with
no.
Trump as the press secretary. Your job is to lie.
Yeah.
If that is a problem for you, the job will be hard
Yeah. and
because
then-
everyone knows you're lying. It's not like.
But if you don't give a shit and like you're just like I'll just go out there and like play the part and all I got to do is make him look good whatever like Kellyanne Conway doesn't give a
she didn't
fuck.
until her daughter checked her ass, right? She didn't, which was tight about it because she really didn't until then.
Her husband's also like super against Trump.
So it happened. So there was a statement from Trump today. Finally, have you guys seen it? It happened just before I got here, so I'm guessing you guys didn't see it.
The news also like the results too today.
Right. The news, everyone is reporting, right, that what's went down. But he didn't. Well, he hasn't talked for a while. So I'm guessing he's just got like pizza and fudge on his face, and they took his phone away. Finally.
He was golfing.
He was golfing.
He was golfing?
He just
Is that actually
he's
what
crying
happened?
on the green.
He was, as of earlier today, he was golfing today when they announced that Biden
this
won.
Is
He
what
was
I
on
was
golf
telling you. He is going to be so excited he's not president. He is going to go back to his normal life. Other than maybe jail stuff, which we'll get to. He is going to be excited. But
Yeah, he doesn't want to fucking be president.
who would want to be president? Who like?
I mean, a lot of people would want to be president.
They don't really. I mean, some people want to be president.
I
But
would
after you've been president, it's hard to want to be president.
I would like seriously love if they leaked the footage of someone telling him
You did what?
and like him just like losing it, throwing
You know,
his club, like,
there's not footage, but there's definitely recordings because every spoken conversation in the White House is recorded in the hallways, everywhere in the kitchen. Everything is being recorded.
But he wasn't. He was on the golf course.
Not when he was told I was bet on Tuesday.
You
Oh,
just
no.
said-
On Tuesday.
Today when he
No, but like
Oh.
Tuesday night, he's told, "Hey, you're losing." Like they
Right.
told, like if I knew
Are you
Wednesday
talking about
morning,
Tuesday night? Then or are you talking about today?
today, but he's known for a while. The way he's acting, you've known he's known.
So
that
you're
he's
saying that he's known that he's losing, but what you guys were saying is that they actually said like, here's the actual it's been called.
Right, like-
when
hey,
when
it's been
he's not gonna
called.
flip out at that time. He's gonna flip out when they're like, "Hey," when he was at 2:30, he was like, "I'm winning."
or like
And
whatever.
and like 6 hours later, when the guy's like, "Hey, man,
I don't
that's
know
not
if
what
there's,
happened," he would have
but
been
that's
like,
the thing,
"What?
I
No,
don't
You think
they're
there's something-
cheating.
you
I don't
They're
think
lying."
Trump has that guy. He doesn't have that
yeah.
guy, and that's his
You're
problem.
killing it, sir.
Right.
Fuck yeah.
Exactly. He's just
Well, he did-
surrounded
he-
by a bunch of yes
he-
men,
he
and so he
had-
doesn't.
Well, but you have to because You have to, because he sent out so many lawyers, so they do know where he's losing, because they're attempting to falter
GOP.
that. It can't just be the GOP.
But I really think that
But, you know,
hold on, let me finish.
Okay, go ahead.
I really think that the conversations that happen aren't, sir, you're losing, so we're gonna go send out these lawyers. It's like, oh no, you're totally winning, and we're gonna go find a way to prove it. Like, I don't think they tell him that.
We need some of these conversations out so we can see.
I can't wait to see.
They will come out. All of these will come out.
The
so great.
the 8 movie fucking franchise of the Trump administration. Netflix
It's gonna
is
be an
the
HBO special
greatest.
for sure.
HBO Max got it. HBO Max got it. They buy everything. So today, basically, no one saw him. He didn't speak. It's a statement that gets pushed out. For most of the statement, I can just ride with what he says. That's fine. He's like, hey.
What did he say?
He's like, hey, votes, not a single state's votes are certified yet. No shit. Takes 21 days to certify votes. You are correct. So let's ride with it. I can ride with that. He's telling the truth.
He also tweeted right before the results came out. He was like, I won the election.
He was like, he was literally tweeting his lawyers. He's like, why aren't you fighting them here and stopping them from doing this?
Yeah, his lawyers would say one thing, and then it's like,
I just don't respond to him, dude. You just don't respond to him.
I'm just gonna do my job. I'm
just send him a fake article. Send him down a rabbit hole. No, yeah. So like, he is flipping out saying that, but after that he goes like, all the votes that should be counted. He was like, but we should not count illegal votes. And he goes on his conspiracy rant, like, and he's I'm gonna prove it and all this. So he has not conceded yet. He's on the golf course. He has conceded if he's on the golf course. I have not seen a man lose and go celebrate.
This is his 202nd, 209 days that he's been out golfing during his presidency.
But here's the difference. Like,
But like, that's his shit. He's not gonna go do that like in the middle of this. He's just
no. If he felt bad, you're not gonna go do it. When you're having a shitty day, you don't go do it.
When you two are having a shitty day, what do? You go take it out on some baby
belts?
belts?
Beat the shit out of the first random person I see.
You go take it out on some baby belts, and that's exactly what he's doing. He's taking it out on the golf course.
Not when I really have my bad days. When I really have a bad day, I don't go to the mats.
I don't know if this is a bad day for him.
I mean,
to be honest, like, he's just so.
That's what he's saying.
No, but at first, it would be. But if it wasn't really a bad day, after he realizes, I don't have to stay in this house that's not as nice as my house. I don't have to.
Is it though?
There's no way that's the first thing he did was complain that the White House wasn't nice enough and move most of his shit to Trump Tower.
How old is the White House?
That was some of the first shit. He was able to bill the American government $1 million a day in security because he had to move to the Trump Towers to set everything.
They got to the point they were like, hey man,
it's so much money. He was like, find it. He was like, no.
Okay, but speaking of now he's on the come down, can you imagine how happy Melania Trump is right now that she can actually file for divorce?
You think she filed for divorce?
So,
100%.
So
Jared has been too weird.
She's already called the lawyers.
Has this been like building? Have we been seeing signs?
Other
than the fact that she swats him away every time.
I haven't seen this.
What?
Oh, Melania. Never mind. I don't know why my brain thought Ivanka.
No.
Melania ain't leaving him. She always hated him. On the president walk day, you remember when they tried to hold hands and walk to the podium and they're like swatting each other's hands?
But I bet it comes down to whether or not he goes to jail. Because if he still has money, she didn't have to get divorced if he goes to jail. She just didn't have to deal with them anymore.
True.
But I bet if he not that he has a lot of
money.
money.
You know what? There's no way she didn't sign a prenup. There's no way she didn't. Okay?
So that
Trump or his daddy made sure she did. So she's not leaving him.
Her dad was dead by the time.
She's not leaving him. Now, if she really hates him, I would like to see her testify against him in one of
That's
these
not gonna happen.
17 million cases that are
That'd
about
be
to happen.
amazing. I was about to say, it would not be either of the parents that required a prenup. It would 100% be Ivanka. Because she's like, you're not getting anything.
Oh, no. Oh, with Jared?
Oh, yeah.
He's not making it. He's not making
Aw.
it.
So Joe Biden is the president-elect. They called it today.
So bad also. That's so bad also.
So, like, that's it. Like,
So he dies tomorrow.
Trump's
and
out, and you're already seeing, like, his, like, grip on a lot of things kind of, like, loosen. He's just because he's acting like a fucking child. So it brings up a good question, like, what's next for Trump?
Even Fox News. So there's like I forgot. So they have like a constitutional lawyer come on there. Some genius,
Judge
right?
Napolitano.
But they have a. Thank you, Roy. Thank you. Judges on there, but they're talking about some of Trump's tweets, and he was just like, frankly, this is really hard to look at. He was like, I would just advise people to not read this.
If you go to Twitter,
because like he's a constitutional lawyer. Can you imagine how it feels to him? Not only he's probably a very right-leaning man, but he's a good man, right? If he believes in the Constitution, he just is conservative.
I would say if
and
we
the
are
stuff that's happening, he's just like, oh my god.
I would say if we are in fact talking
saying...
about the same person, Judge Napolitano, throughout Trump's entire presidency, there are many times that he's like, yo, that's wrong. You can't do that. During the impeachment and stuff, it's like, yeah, he fucked up. He should be in trouble. If it was anybody else, like, they would be in trouble. So, like, he's definitely one of the few people there at Fox News that, like, will tell you, lean most ways, like, that's wrong.
Right.
I mean, I'm sure there's definitely times where he
I want to hear what's so funny.
It's just I logged into Twitter because we've been talking about it, and the first tweet is like,
could you read off some of his?
Yes.
Read off some of his tweets.
All caps. I won this election by a lot 6 hours ago.
That was right before, and then like an hour later they called it.
That's when he was 4.1 million votes down.
And then
popular vote.
Now they called it. Everything after this is like they've called it.
He hasn't said anything since then. But then.
All his Twitter posts are also like blacked out, or they're like.
Hold on, it's
all redacted. It's like a CIA file.
Well, no, you can't just see it. They're all
right,
like.
I know.
There's like things saying like this is like whatever.
It's like exactly like a CIA redacted file.
It violates like Twitter's community guidelines.
Yeah, because it's like, hey, this is not real.
So
it's not facts.
He's now claimed the most votes because he says that he had the most legal votes.
Yeah.
So there's
there's
votes
4 million fake votes out there. I'm sure.
So not
every person that died from COVID voted for Biden somehow.
But to be honest, genius. Because if you're saying like you lost like I won, that means that you didn't get these votes. So you know what? I'm the fucking best.
This just makes so much sense. Like he is a guy that doesn't know how to lose, right? But who has lost a lot of times, right? So like he's a guy who doesn't know how to lose. So, but he still gets rich off of going bankrupt. This
is 10 minutes ago. He said the observers were not allowed into, and this is all capitals.
Oh yeah. I read this one.
I read this one too.
Observers were not allowed into the counting rooms. I won the election. Got 71 million legal votes. Bad things happened.
He's pumping up his votes by 3 bills, 3 M's, 3 M's up. Oh, really, Donnie? So the real story about the people who weren't allowed in to watch the votes. Every human is allowed to actually watch the vote counting. If you go onto state websites, you can actually watch a live feed of the vote counting because I checked all this stuff out.
You're just watching them?
Because I was so psycho about I was like, can you say this? Can you say this? I just want to know what's real. So
I love how Vidush became deep state over
I was like, so
Big Brother.
So he goes in and he's like, I want my people checking the votes. You know what the complaint is? The complaint is that the vote counters, due to COVID, said there must be 6 feet space between us. So the lawsuit is that they didn't let us within 6 feet. So that I can't really tell what you. So right from here to there, I'm like, you're cheating. I can't see it. I know you're motherfucking cheating. You're over there just doing this.
Yeah, if you can't see to say that they're cheating,
I mean, obviously,
You know what I
it
mean?
makes no
No,
sense.
it makes
I
no
just
sense,
put
right?
that together.
So
I
that's
just
all-
put that together.
that's-
I can't see whether they're cheating or not, but I
They're
suspect
fucking
it.
cheating.
But
Right?
I know they are.
So what's funny is then, so I like I said, I'm watching all the
Mag,
right
to
side
be
stuff.
to be one of his lawyers right now.
So the right
Jesus
side.
Christ.
So there were 500. Everyone's hearing there's 500 lawyers in Pennsylvania like throwing down for all these votes. Let's get it right. There's 500 Trump lawyers in Pennsylvania. This boy got a lot of cash. Okay, he's got 500 lawyers in Pennsylvania.
They're all doing it pro bono.
Trying to. No, they're not. No, they're not. Because he's just billing us. That's the thing. He's just
you're
billing
saying that
us. for this.
there are like you're not just throwing a number out there. You're saying
There were 500 lawyers in Pennsylvania,
that
in different counties, all across the
Representing
state,
Trump.
representing Trump,
Seriously.
trying to stop the counting of the mail-in ballots.
just in Pennsylvania.
This is just Pennsylvania. There is a very small number of, we'll call them
That the government's all paying for.
blue lawyers, okay? Because Trump, even on TV, the Trump cited lawyers, let's say, they were like, they
Donald Trump TV shows,
Let's
including
pause.
The President's Rebellion, Sex and
don't need to pause.
The Daily Show.
Alexa.
Trump has been on 247 shows, dude. See, this is why he don't care. He's gonna go back to TV. He's gonna quit. He's gonna start firing people. They said he was on Sex and the City. The first time I saw Donald Trump,
Alexa, stop.
he was on Home Alone 2. That was the first time I saw Donald Trump. Okay, now we're back on track. No, so he has all these lawyers that and then on the news, the Trump side lawyer says the reason why there's so many lawyers on one side and not the other is because they don't have a case. Most
Yeah,
of these
obviously.
cases were just dismissed, like nothing happened. The judge was
Because-
like, "What are you doing here?" He's
Because
like,
all
the
the
lawyer's
Donald-
like, "I'm getting paid. He told me to show up."
Yeah, because
He said all your shit is fake. It's like, it's not. I know it's not.
Because Trump's
I was like-
entire life, that's what he does. Like, if he doesn't get his way, he just throws lawyers at you. That's like his whole thing. That's what he always does.
Look, I wasn't a fan of her, but Hillary called it in 2016. He has consistently saying that everything is rigged against him when he
Right,
doesn't go
yeah,
his way,
yeah.
and this is
His whole life.
He's been telling us that.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think's next for ODT? What's his next move? What happens next? He's
Getting a
out of
slippery booty in jail.
yeah.
Learning what peanut butter tastes like.
He's definitely like so.
What? Okay, so let's just quickly sidetrack. Explain this. Common. This is super bad male rape death in jail, but to haze people they hate, they're gonna make you suck your butt with the packaged peanut butter or the packaged jelly that comes with the food. Those little squares. You know, you get that nice continental breakfast. You put your they put it on their butthole. And Donnie's gonna use his rough tongue, his sandpaper tongue that's been telling these lies to clean it. That's what's coming.
Oh.
Because he has 27 cases of sexual assault.
I don't know, but I'm so uncomfortable.
That better make it on there.
Okay, so I have a
Allegedly. We're
Hey,
just gonna throw in allegedly.
Allegedly.
Oh no, that happened. You guys, what have you guys never seen Locked Up? Have y'all never seen a real bad gangster say how he
They
makes,
have some amazing episodes.
like, okay, they know how to break a human.
Yeah,
They're
for
like, you know why they say they do the jelly peanut butter thing? Because you can think about something else if you're sucking dick. This is how you dominate a man. This is how you
Jesus.
dominate. So break a man in half.
One of my favorite episodes of
The
the
line.
yeah.
I know which one you tell it.
Was it the Booty Warrior? Is that his name? Yeah.
The Booty Warrior.
If you haven't seen it, I mean, it's such an old video, but
Fleece Johnson.
is that his real name?
Fleece Johnson. His real name is his first name is something else. His nickname is Fleece. And his first line is there, booty is more important than breathing air.
More important than water.
More important than drinking water.
Yeah. What is it? A man's butt.
A man's
He's so gross.
yeah.
ridiculous.
But he's a warrior too. You remember? That's
Yeah.
what he said. He's like, yeah, I like that, but I'm a warrior too.
They did
That's
like
the worst
did
thing.
like a parody of him on Boondock Saints too, or something like that.
A man
What?
who's gonna rape you, but he's a fighter.
Is this like he's the dominant one?
Oh
Yes.
yeah. Oh yeah. He basically says like
This
am-
is
am
this
I-
is his pickup line. Hey, you, come here.
Oh.
That's that.
What did he say? He's
No.
like, we're gonna
I
I
do
mean-
sees ya, and I wants ya. You remember
that,
that?
and we can
This
either
is
do
a-
this the easy
easy
way,
way.
or we can do this
It's
the hard way.
And the way Boondocks played on those 4 lines is so terrible.
I see. Okay.
He ends up
He- I mean,
raping
he-
Chris Hansen in that.
In the Boondock Saints.
God.
In the
I was
Boondock
like,
Saints,
what?
yeah.
How did Chris Hansen get in prison?
Because you had Chris Hansen stopping some pedo from
Right,
getting.
right.
Well, he comes in there. He's like, I'm not looking for little boys' butt. I'm looking for man's
Man's
butt.
Wow.
Yeah, I think he even
Chris
says like,
Handsome.
I think he even,
outside.
yeah, he calls him Chris Hansen. I think
Boondocks is amazing.
I think that he even he tells the like people interviewing him is like, if I was younger, it's like I would have just grabbed like a bunch of you and just like would have raped you, just like.
Oh, he said that straight to the reporters. He was like, if it was back in the day where I wouldn't have gotten in trouble, like where they had less control of me, he said all y'all would have. He would have felt on all of y'all.
Yeah.
He told him that straight. It's actually such a terrifying 60 minutes that you have to make jokes about it. Otherwise, you'll never tell the story again. You'll just be terrible.
What is Donald Trump actually like legal? Like, what is he actually looking at? I know that there's some kind of tax.
That's probably the
Trouble.
only thing they could stick on him.
The tax?
Yeah, I mean, the guy is so slippery, but they just stuck the tax evasion on the billionaire. The guy, actually, can we look up a recent billionaire got busted on tax fraud? It should come up
All of
pretty.
them?
It should come up pretty. No, but it's so much money. It's like he's a billionaire, but he also basically has tax evaded $1 billion also.
Robert Smith.
There we go. All right. So like busting that guy, you're talking you're talking about a fraction of the world's wealth, like that specific guy has. So like if they could get him, they could get Donnie now. Donnie is now
So
no longer Teflon.
you think that-
Teflon Trump?
you think
It's
that
over.
Donald Trump, like the end of this roller coaster of a movie is he's gonna end up in jail?
In peanut butter.
So
Yes.
So there's a really good article that kind of breaks it down, and it's basically everything that he has done in the past like
All
10
the
years,
things.
but also including the presidency that could get him 10 years in prison. And it's like extortion, it's refusal to witness or testify or produce papers,
I
it's tax
definitely
evasion.
believe they can get him because his lawyer got busted. Like, it's
Con-
over for you,
contributions
bro.
and donations by foreign nationals.
There's so many people
Yeah,
of
the
his
Emolliment's
staff,
closed. Yeah.
of his staff that kind of took the fall for him. Like, then none
Of
of
all of them.
none of that's gonna happen now.
I think that yeah, I mean,
He's a president, so he might escape a lot, but his life is gonna be very different now.
so if it's anything that's like federal, then it can be pardoned. But if it's something that's like a state or local,
That's what
then,
you told me,
then
right?
it-
So they
then they can't pardon it.
But also,
filed
like,
the tax stuff under state stuff, so he can't be pardoned.
New York,
yeah.
But what does that? Which president is pardoning him? You tell me, Biden's
doubtful,
going up like
very doubtful. But like, let's not
or
forget,
Kamala. Let's say Kamala.
Trump got impeached.
He did.
He's like one of the only presidents who got impeached and didn't leave office.
Yeah.
I mean, Clinton
That-
did,
Clinton
but because
is him.
but he was going to leave office within like 2
enough.
months. Like
He lied enough
he
to-
was
So
right at the
yeah,
end
he's
his
one of like
presidency.
I don't know, like 10 presidents that
lies-
only had one term
yeah.
and then also got impeached, also had a pandemic, also had civil unrest. I mean, excuse me.
We're celebrating now, basically. I actually never been this happy for election where I didn't even care about my guy winning. You know, I don't care that Biden won.
You just didn't want it to be Trump.
We couldn't survive Trump again.
So
So my biggest issue, let's say for voting, this is like, again, how voting basically, like, what's your biggest issue?
like my
Like for voting, like what would be your, like for some people it's social justice.
oh, I see.
It's race
Medical
stuff.
for all.
Medicare, that's your biggest issue. It's for some people, it's the Rona. Some people, it's the economy. To me, the economy and the Rona are one and the same. The economy was affected by the Rona.
True.
That's
Right
the
now,
only reason why
I guess
it's down.
right in general, right now, COVID is everybody's like number one concern.
Or the economy, but they're really actually connected.
But I think it's
But
the same thing.
so to me, that's the biggest issue. Like, is dealing with the virus so that the economy is because basically the economy being down affects the most people negatively of anything that's happening. There's only one thing that's a long term on the table that I think hurts people worse, and that's climate change. That was taken off the table, which is going to be back on the table with Biden. That's good.
That's like one of the main things about Biden.
For me,
he's going to join the Paris climate. He's
Yes.
going to go back
Let's say,
into the
even
Iran
if you
deal.
don't believe in climate change, that's fine. You should still throw the trash out. That's basically what I'm saying.
Yeah.
There's no need to make it extra polluted. We can still just find a way to do it.
Yeah, you're
better.
talking about regulations and all these things.
Yeah,
like, let's not pollute. Like
Dude,
in general,
here's
like
the
don't
thing,
be
like,
a piece of shit.
I've seen India when it's bad. You want to see no
You
regulations?
just can't see anything.
People will just take a shit in the water, like in running water, like the Ganges River, as people know it.
The Gunga.
The Ganga before was just shipping tens of thousands of tons of shit through it,
But aren't they
until there was regulations to stop people from shitting in the fucking
But
water.
they're also like there's like dead bodies and stuff.
Oh, they're just burning off the bodies and floating them down. Oh, that's good for the water, though. You know the fish eat that.
It's good for the fish.
No, I don't.
What would happen?
I would say that death in the water is less bad than shit in the water.
What would happen if I go to India and the first thing I did was just drink water from the Ganga? What would happen?
From the Ganga?
Yeah.
That's super juice. So you'd be fine if you drank Ganga water. If you drank,
Why is it super juice?
I mean, it comes from like a glacier in the Himalayas, and that glacier is known to just have a lot of antibodies, good bacterias, lots of. That's why the
But I
water,
guess- but
even
that-
with all that bad shit coming
at
through
the
it.
top.
No, even at the bottom, it was like proven to be bad, like not that bad. But how about this? If you drink some random tap water,
I'm dead.
you might die. You'll lose 70 pounds. You'll lose 70 pounds
Dang.
in 19 hours.
You got sick.
That's not a recommended diet, by the way. I just want to say.
No, when I saw the Taj Mahal, it's in a city called Agra. So I go in, and everyone had been telling me don't
How do you
drink
say Taj Mahal? Say it again.
Taj Mahal.
I don't say it like that.
What do you guys say?
I say Taj.
Cool. Super.
How do you? So it's Taj.
Super. Yeah, Taj Mahal. So
Taj.
we go. Everyone had been telling me basically everywhere, don't drink the water, don't drink the water. Everywhere I was going, I was 12 years old and I was insane, and I was testing myself everywhere, drinking water everywhere, handling everything up mostly. When I went to the village at my dad's place, way outside the city, no electricity, I drank the water there. I got sick for a day and a half, but after that I was acclimated. When I went to Agra and I had bottled water, because even my family made sure that I didn't test it, that water had been just bootlegged, like resealed bottles. And I basically had local water. My next 18 hours is nothing I could keep down.
Ugh.
And we're talking, if I took a teaspoon of medicine, just immediately, I threw up and shit 18 times. If I wasn't 12 years old,
At 12.
I would have died.
Jesus.
As a young child, you're so resilient. I was just
So
like
it would fuck
dried
me
up
up.
like bones. You'd be
Plus
dead.
the food. Plus the food.
And that's already gave you just the food will give you the shits. It's too hot.
Yeah, super spicy.
There's no need for it to be that spicy.
Super spicy. You got some pretty crazy stories from India.
Because India's wild, dude.
What's the craziest story you have?
I'm telling you, you already know. Well, is either the tiger.
Tell the tiger
You know
story.
that it's always Is the tiger or the monkey? Because that's all the stories actually for me when I was a kid. It was wild animals because.
It sounds like a Disney movie.
Well, but the
Tiger and
city,
monkey.
the city, and the
Is that Aladdin?
like I just talked to my my cousin, and we were talking about something like how our family makes fun of us because we have beards or something. He was like, yeah, he
You're
made.
not supposed to have a beard?
No, it's just no. I mean, my grandfather's a military
I see.
dude, so he's just like a clean kept. So like, yeah, they're gonna make fun of you for sure. They have something that's called decade, and that basically is like a good translation is a hoodlum, but in Indian words, it would I guess also signify area and what, so you would know exactly how these people act. But the hoodlum is a good word, so that's what they call you or whatever. But he was like, yeah, it's basically like seeing cows on the road in India. It's just something that happens. You get used
It's
to
just
it.
there.
Like
Yeah.
like, and it's not like American cows. They're not black and white. These are bulls. These are things that look
From the
like
hood.
bulls. They're the hood cows. The hood cows. It's
They got
tougher over there.
cows walking around like we have like the hood has dogs
like,
walking around.
We got cows walking around that eat grass and whatever. Those cows are in 130-degree temperature with 8 million motorcycles driving around and finding
So they don't give a
grass.
fuck.
They're just in the road, stop and try, right? So the wildlife and the city is on top of each other. So I was
12 years old.
12 years old with my dad at the time and my sister. And we are in Delhi, New Delhi.
See,
New Delhi.
See, I say
New
Delhi
for you? New Delhi.
Delhi.
This is a city of what, 20-some million or something like
One
that?
of the bigger ones, right?
Highest population density in the world or something like that. In this same area, there's a stream that cuts right through the middle of the city, right? Like with no sewer thing around it. The road is just like gravel and water runs over it when it flows.
Okay. Okay.
So it's just here in the biggest city in the world, right? And that stream kind of leads into some forestish area. The houses are in some ways built like favelas where they're kind of on top of each other and stuff. Because they end up becoming generational homes, let's say 3 or 4 or 5 generational homes, so the house keeps building in that way.
I could just
Yeah.
expanding.
Or like
bigger,
even
bigger.
when someone dies, like that was my great grandmother's place. We're gonna leave it alone. I'm just gonna put a little more piece up here, and we'll keep building. So houses have layers. So animals get up on the not cool. So these are ledges for monkeys and animals and birds to attack you and everything basically. So I'm here looking at this bull going to this water. On the other side, there's a tiger looking at this bull also.
Okay, hold on.
A tiger.
So where are you that you see this tiger?
I am.
Like, give me
I am
the area.
12 feet from the bull. I am
Looking down at the bull.
Me and bull are on the same ground. We're on the ground.
So across the street.
It slopes into the stream, right? It slopes into the stream.
Just out there. Hey, there's a bull stream.
Me, Pops, and Sis just got off a rickshaw.
And where's the tiger?
I saw some dude just pull a snake out of sing a snake out of a. That's real. That happens everywhere. There are snakes everywhere in India. That's why that guy is everywhere, because snakes are everywhere.
So does he actually like, I'll get him, and then he's just like cool with
No.
it?
He has it. He puts it in there. He riles it up, and then he settles it down with a song and
they do
stuff.
that tap thing.
Nah, I almost got bad. That's a different area of snakes.
I see.
Yeah.
The north.
Different country.
I see. The
But
Pakistan.
so they are still now getting food at a food stand.
But
or
where's
something.
the tiger?
The tiger's on the other side of the stream, on top of these roofs, and he is descending. The bull is
Wait,
drinking.
on top of like urban, like not in a tree or something.
It's urban. It's made out of like clay. You understand? Like it's like a. That's why I'm saying it has like these levels. It looks like a cat playhouse that's really big, right? It has like all these jumping. So this is a giant cat jumping down his playhouse.
I need you to tell me, like, the moment you see the tiger.
I see the tiger really late. Okay,
Oh, God.
I'm just like this bull. So a tiger is super camouflaged. You think it's orange, and you can't see it. The tiger's camouflage is to look like the sunlight. He looks like the sunlight and the stripes look like shade marks. You can't see him. You can't see him anywhere there's sun. Anywhere there's sun, you think you could see him, you can't see him. There's cars also, because this is the city. So now the bull has no defense. I have no defense. He's got a nose, I got no nose. We both don't have ears because all we hear is cars and people. Descends down. I have now seen him descend down because this happens in half a second. He descends down. He jumps the river. The bull doesn't know.
Wait, so the tiger's like 10, 12 feet just on it?
On it. We're talking he's covered 40 feet in...
40 feet?
40 feet in seconds.
Jesus.
Not 2 seconds.
How big is this tiger? Like
I'm a child, so, the
huge.
memory of how big the tiger was...
It's just like a tailed beast?
It's just amazing. As the Nine Tails is out there. Right? No, he also... The width of the river is something like 10 or 12 feet, maybe more.
And he just like skips over that.
He jumps the river. He does not step in it once, and he also makes no
I'm
sound.
not getting wet. Fuck.
So
no sound?
Down the... Not anymore. There's not from him because we hear other stuff, but I'm sure even if we didn't, there was no sound. But so he comes down, jumps the water, walks side by side with it. Bull doesn't know it's there.
What are you thinking right now?
Just hard
Just
on.
watching
Like I'm
him.
just a child, right? I'm just like, a tiger, right? Right? Bull doesn't know he's there. Now the bull, like, just imagine like when someone sneaks up on you and and they didn't scare you and you're just like, that moment and you turn. When he turned, he just smacks the bull.
Like he just...
With a paw?
With a paw. Before he jumps on his throat.
I keep it real.
Boom. Like kind of like I'm gonna, like it would have been a maul, but just like a paw blast. I am guessing that paw blast broke its neck.
Oh.
Because it just fell, and when he jumped on its neck, he kind of picked it up and once again jumped the river.
With the bull.
Holding the bull once again.
Not getting wet.
Not jump. He got a little wet. Back feet got wet, but he jumped the river, dragged it through the last part a little bit, and I'm just shit myself, pissed myself, did all the things. I'm just this happened like right, and it just leaves right into the woods, and that's what I mean. Like that can really
And
actually.
everybody's
happen.
just like, oh shit.
No,
yeah,
no. That's the thing. I'm probably the only one who guys saw that. That happened in 4 seconds, and it happened quietly, and he left.
I
And
mean-
somebody lost their cow.
He's like that. It's like that character in like every anime that's like always has a cow and like fruit.
Yeah.
Always gets
And
like,
then he just
busted.
gets smoked, gets taken out in the woods.
The cabbage guy from
Yeah,
Avatar.
from Avatar. Yeah. I'm always watching a video of like cats in India. Just like I saw one was like a leopard or something, just like running through a school, and everybody's like, "Hey, get the fuck out of here!"
No, like you can actually like look up some of like the worst man-eating animals. Have been like the worst man-eating leopard was in India, and it killed 800 people before they could hunt it down or something like that.
Some of the
That's
craziest.
myth.
Some
That's
of the
myth.
craziest.
That's got to be a myth.
Some of
But
the,
it was like 50 or something like that.
some of the
18
craziest
people. That's a lot for an animal to kill.
Some of the craziest big cat videos I've ever seen are come from India, where
Well,
that guy's on the elephant.
That's the worst one. Audie, pull up the video. Tiger attacks elephant, India. Guy's on top of an elephant.
It's like in
It's
the
got
grass.
it's got to pull up so quickly.
The first one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want me to watch
You can
this?
play. We've seen it. We'll basically
I
react
want
to
to
it
get
as
your
we
reaction. Have you
react
seen
it.
this
Oh
one?
my god,
Yes.
I have not seen
Oh,
this.
you should go ahead.
Just go. It's so short too.
I'm so uncomfortable.
So, but the reason why this happens is we won't just kill it. There's a whole area where it's like a reserve for tigers without a fence.
They're just roaming. They're
Right.
just chilling.
And that same air,
What?
he's on top of the elephant, Audie, and he almost gets his arm taken off.
How high can they jump?
Who
I mean,
knows?
you've seen an elephant.
However high it needs to. What's a cane can get on the fridge. Like literally by scale, that's what the tiger did. Like, oh, I can get on top of the elephant.
I mean, think about
From
it.
far, it jumped.
Think
And
about-
the other thing is, you
He has just like a little bamboo stick, sir. That is
Hey,
not a
he's like,
defense.
"Stop it."
You
Stop
had
it.
an elephant. That bamboo stick is to guide the elephant. It is not for a tiger. That is to smack the elephant around
No,
and tell
that's
it to where to go.
unnecessary.
Hey, I never knew that it would get on top of a tiger, an elephant.
The other crazy one is a tiger and a motorcycle bike where they're driving in the sanctuary.
So that's the thing. So tigers know that people avoid killing them in that area. They avoid killing people if you're not in that area.
But if you're in the hood,
But if you're in the area, they are the apex
Your
predator.
food.
So the thing is, there's a huge fishing village that lives outside of that because that area has the best fishing water there is. So these guys on their wooden boats with their wooden poles, there's no motors. They kiss their wives in the morning. They get a prayer from their gods. She gives them a circle. They go out. They go to war, catch dinner for a couple weeks, and come back. And a bunch don't come back because tigers eat them.
Just fuck them up.
Tigers are just
Why is India so rowdy?
They don't know what
It's
they're doing.
like
They have
everything.
no idea what they're doing.
There's like everything there can kill you.
They have no idea what they're doing. Because that's the difference. Like if it was America,
Like, I thought that was a
there'd be
fly,
no
and
snakes.
suddenly a fly kills
There'd
me.
be no snakes. There'd be no tigers. There'd be none of that stuff. Because you smoke it, get rid of the stuff that can kill you.
This is one of the few places where like tigers are just still like doing their thing.
Right.
Like
Like monkeys too. That's what I'm saying. Like the monkeys are just as dangerous. We'll save monkeys for another day.
Yeah.
But like all that wildlife is loose in India.
So crazy.
Speaking of wildlife, you watch the Mando?
The ice spiders, Jesus. I did see the
I'm
episode.
not a fan of spiders actually.
Your
I'm not
nickname Your
scared.
nickname is the
I'm
spider.
not scared of spiders, but let's say I had a situation where there was 100,000 small spiders, or when I say small, I mean not a 2-story giant spider, but the dog spiders that were chasing him. That would be a problem. That would be a major problem.
I'm not particularly scared of spiders too, but I appreciate any any predator.
I like spiders. I don't like the creepy crawly numbers. Like you do a scenario where the room is full of bugs. I'm not gonna freak out, but I am not happy.
Yeah, I don't
like
like
I'm not like it. And then Yoda just eat, like he rips the egg up, smashing spider eggs.
Yeah, well, not just spider eggs. He's also eating those so he gets this mission where he has to take this frog lady to some adjacent planet or
Frog
solar
bitch.
system.
She is so dumb. She is so dumb. Let's even peel it back a little bit to the beginning. First thing, how many times has the Mando been jumped?
Like all the time.
Every episode, the first thing happens, he gets jumped. He gets jumped in the middle of.
You gotta let him know.
Stop jumping the
You gotta
Mando.
let him know.
Have you guys not heard the legend? How many times has he smoked 5-on-1, 6-on-1, 10-on-1?
I guess the universe is that big, and they're just like, I think I can take him.
This time it was the small thing. I don't know what it was, and it had Yoda hostage.
Oh yeah, it was like some like weird alien.
BY hostage, and he's got him with a Bowie knife of all things. He has lasers and all this. He pulls a Bowie knife, but he has BY hostage, and what's he wants? He wants the jetpack.
Yeah,
That's the other thing. Don't negotiate with the Mando. No matter what he says, he's gonna kill you for it.
Yeah,
If you make it rowdy, he's gonna kill you. So he was like, "Oh, you want the jet? Super. You have the jetpack. Give me BY. I got BY, and you got the jetpack, and I'm gonna turn it on, and you're gonna go 100 feet in the air and fall."
I thought it was cool how
and the jetpack
just like
floats on, lands beside him. It
Falls
almost
over.
does the Elon, like rocket landing. No, so quit jumping him. Also, white people in Star Wars are the most cultured people there are anywhere. This bitch speaks frog. This
What?
bitch speaks frog. She's out there talking with the frog, making deals for the frog.
talking with the ant person too.
That's the scariest insect I've ever seen in my life.
Playing cards with a giant ant. Jesus.
Smoking his money.
Oh my god, if that was scary to you, then we have to show you Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Oh my God.
Have you not seen Honey, I Shrunk the
Of
Kids?
course he
So
hasn't.
I was born and I was 19. And then I
That's
only
it.
watched 19-year-old movies from the time I was 3. So the first movie I remember is Lethal Weapon 3.
What?
Yeah, specifically remember them. The thugs lighting the dude up and pushing him into
Keep
the
going. I
wet
need to go to the
cement pit. They pushed him into the wet cement pit,
Okay.
and then they dropped all the pit and then covered it up. And I remember my dad was like, he like looked at me. He was like, I probably shouldn't have let you watch that. He was like, I was like, this is dope. But it stuck with me. So, you know, it probably wasn't good. But yeah, I was all, like, action movies were cool.
Uh-huh.
I didn't see anything else, though. I didn't see any other type of movie. The only thing I was not allowed to see was titties.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of, that's so funny because in Norway they just like the cell phone company released a commercial on primetime television that is just full frontal bodies, like the whole world getting naked. Like the first thing you see is just a dick swinging in your face. And then it's just from there, it's just like everybody in the world, in their little country, just naked, right? Doing everyday things.
What's
like,
the reaction to that? Okay, so
they're like stone cold. They don't care.
No.
There's like,
what's the public reaction to that?
that's what I'm saying. Is like the public reaction is like, okay. And then I was reading.
You're
I
just
saw
so
it on
pretty
Reddit.
over there.
Well,
Show me.
not even that. I mean, it's normalized.
Yeah, they've been normalized, so
Yeah.
you're much less reactive to the
Right. So
the human body.
But then it's also I was reading the Reddit thread on it because that's where I saw it, and the Reddit thread was like everyone else from foreign countries were like, yeah, this is the norm. We don't see the blood and gore that Americans see. So Americans have it completely flipped, where like we're cool with blood and gore and action and all that, but they're
we're not good with
but
yeah.
nudity is a big
See,
no-no.
but that's a link that Indian culture and American culture have, though, right? Because that wasn't an American thing my parents were teaching me.
It was Indian.
An Indian thing, all the killing and stuff is fine.
Interesting.
If it's a bad guy,
Indians have the best.
you could do
movies.
whatever. But all the sex stuff is just so taboo, even though we have
The Kama Sutra.
so many people. The Kama Sutra, tantric sex, like it's such a big deal. Like it's just suppressed though, in culture. Like in the movies, then it's like you show a simulated kiss,
What? You don't
and
even
she's
kiss?
pregnant.
Oh.
Wait, I kiss you, then you're
No,
pregnant.
no. There's a screen you're leaning in for a kiss. There's a screen you're leaning in for a kiss. We get the idea that we could see you hugged. We didn't see the kiss. Under a tree, you guys, she's sleeping, but she's pregnant now. Like this is like the idea, like you're just, it's so suppressed. Like they
Right.
won't touch the idea
At least
of
we'll
it.
show like naked people grinding on each
Right,
other.
yeah,
you
like,
know?
oh, there's some none of that's, like, now it's a little different, but, like, in my lifetime, there was a point where that was the standard,
Interesting.
right? So it's very suppressed in that sense.
I want to talk about how you got over that, but off this later.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
I never got stuck with that. I was like, that doesn't work for me. I was like,
Yes.
I'm hard right now.
So then, back to the Mandalorian. Back to the Mandalorian. So then he gets this quest or this mission to like, I'm gonna take Frog Lady and her
Because
like
he-
sack of eggs or whatever.
Right, but he has no connection to the Mando net.
Yeah, and he's
And
trying to
she's
plug in.
saying that this person, which is
Her husband saw
such
somebody.
such bad writing, but whatever, we roll with it. It's Star
Yeah.
Wars. Like her man knows Mandos on this deserted
Seen 'em,
moon.
seen 'em.
Or something. Okay?
Not even I know him. I saw
He
something.
can-
Like,
I need you guys to patent the Mando net. Like it's gonna be like the internet, but for Star Wars.
dude, if there was really a Mando net, it'd be so badass. How do you join the Mando net? You gotta be a Mando.
Oh, we're about to find out the coven because it's a coven. They're covens. It's like witches stuff. They're looking for
They have
covens.
clans. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then he has this.
They just haven't gave me a helmet. They know I'm about it. They know I'm about it. They just haven't gave me a helmet yet.
You could just wear a helmet.
No, because I could never take it off again. Arjun would forget my face. He would forget my
True.
face. No, but so he gets this mission, but the key was that he can't jump to the planet.
Yeah, he has to cruise it.
because it'll smoke the eggs.
And this is like her last line and last chance to have kids.
But he's
eggs,
like,
I don't
if
know.
it's for Mando stuff, whatever, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, they check his honor and shit. Like, I thought
That-
you were a fucking
he
Mandalorian.
gets his honor checked a lot. Does that happen to the other Mandos, or is he just a little wild? Because he does, like, Yoda bothered him. Losing BY in the second episode, he loses BY. That bothered him. Because remember, he asked, he was like,
He's on a quest.
He's like, what you gonna do with that? And he was like, oh, that you guys don't do that. What was that about? He was like, isn't it your reputation? That scary German who makes documentaries. Yeah. He was like, very peculiar one of your reputation to ask, isn't the deed done after after you've been paid?
Clock in, clock out.
He was like, didn't you forget already? So like he's done things. He took his helmet off for the robot. It's a robot, but
which
still,
is like a technicality. But
technicality.
You took it off.
But like if you're talking,
because he had some kind of like damage.
If we're talking about that though, but like the first other Mando that we saw wanted to box him, right? The heavy gunner, and beats his ass. Like beats his ass. They break it up. This is the way. Like I think everyone else holds the line a little harder than him, but that kind of gives him his power, his free will. But
I think that's the thing too. Is like
he uses it for good.
The child changed his like.
That's true. You're right. The child changed the way he is. Which, someone needs to change the child because the child cannot stop eating frog bitches' eggs. He's eating her babies.
He ate at least 5 or 6 of them that I saw.
That they showed. There was the one part where there was just a time gap, and he was like, "How many did you eat?" And it burps with food falling out of, with embryos falling out of his face. And this is what they.
I guess he likes eggs.
Oh, he likes eggs. Scrambles them up.
There was a crazy. So then, like, the squadron or the patrol shows up.
X-wings show up on him. I guess.
May the force be with you.
I guess like he's basically an outlaw from the beginning because he was working with people who want to be Adam Driver's future homie. Like, right? Because this is before, but they're building to whatever empire they're going to make. The Order, right? They're building to that. So, they're with that. He's working with them. He burns that bridge, which kind of burns all bridges for him because now he's not cool with the guys who are running against the law.
Now he's all Ronin
and when he rolled up against people who were on the side of the law, he's so bad at not popping. He was like, "Hey, pop your blinker." I was like, it's not working. I found it. Is this your ship? You don't know where it is now? I was like,
so he tries to like. It gets kind of like they question him a bunch of stuff, and then he
crosses them.
Yeah, and then he tries to lose them, and goes to his ice planet, falls into this like.
When he fell in the hole, did you know that there was bugs in there?
No,
I knew there were bugs in there. As soon as he fell in the hole, I was like, that's the only thing that Star Wars does is if you fall in a hole, a creature made that hole.
See, but I thought it was that like, what if it was like that same like abominable snowman?
Oh, back then, so I didn't know it was a spider. I knew he was in a cave with creatures. Now.
It wasn't a spider before. Like, are you talking like?
Yeah, I didn't know that the creatures. But I knew he fell in a creature cave.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
I was like, oh,
what's in here? For sure, I thought, what's in here?
Now
I think I made a comment to Lauren as well.
Now I was like, snow animals or whatever. Frog bitch is dumb. She just bounces.
Yeah, and finds like a hot tub. What the fuck?
He's like, I know. And they take 30 minutes putting the eggs back in.
I know, it's just one by one.
In that time, Yoda smashes a spider.
Yeah.
And then that's where I was saying I would get uncomfortable. I would much rather deal with the 2-story spider than the 10,000 small spiders.
Of all sizes. Not just small.
No, yeah.
It's
like small, medium, large, extra. There's all.
So like an elephant size, like giant size, like spider.
So like, and it kept getting
weird
creepier.
Looking too with the weird teeth.
Like
gross.
he rolled into the ship. They fill the ship up. He goes up to the 2nd story. It's just like filling the whole ship up. It was so gross. He's just lighting up the doorway.
Yeah, they're literally like trying to make it to the cabin because it's like that's all we got.
The cockpit, and then the giant spider comes back.
Yeah, and is like trying to break through the glass.
So was that a different giant spider then? Because I swear he smoked that first one.
Well, there were two big spiders came out of the little like.
I thought there was only one. I thought that was the same one.
The initial one came through, and then there was one right behind it.
Makes sense because he did just blow that. Did you see the genius strategy on blowing it up? He sets 2 charges, cross charges, ahead of him while he's running, throws the dropping charge behind him, so the falls through the cabin. He has the trap set, so it gets blown from both sides. I was watching it. I appreciated the strategy. It would immediately work. I was like, that works. But the X-Wings come back and save him.
I don't like spiders.
That would have been rough. I mean, that many spiders would have been rough.
Man, my initial thought when someone was smoking the spider, I was like, who the fuck's out there? Like, this is a chance for someone crazy to show up, but then it's like the X-wing.
I know it was the X-wings, but I thought they were gonna like still apprehend him and
or try to get him.
There would have been some like, hey, I thought they were gonna get him for sure because that looked like way too many. I thought
they're like
team after him.
Yeah, they're like, you got a warrant, but you also did some shit.
There was like we saw the security tapes. It was that one where there was his old squad, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they turned on him, so he smoked all them and then left. Otherwise, he would have done the job, and this would have not saved. They would have not saved him here. Or they would have arrested him, I guess. Or no, they would, I guess, let the spiders eat him alive.
They basically did. They just like helped him in a minute, and they're like, "We're just gonna turn our backs." And
He was like,
just took off, and
he was like, "How about I give you the bounty and you help me fix this hull?"
And they're like,
and
nah.
he was like, "How about I don't arrest you, dumbass?" And then he just rolls out.
Yeah, and then they just fly out of there, and he's just like, "Thanks." I guess.
Yeah, they all just sit in the cockpit.
And then they just like sputter out of the.
Best thing in the episode, just obvious, they're letting Baby Yoda be freaky. Like, that was ridiculous. Baby Yoda is just out here eating eggs and being bad.
Yeah, I love how, like...
He's a child. Like that's what a child does.
He's a toddler. I love how at the end he, like, looks back at the lady and he's like... He knows what he's doing.
He knows what
he's
wrong. He's what's supposed to do. He looks, he checks. She looks at him and covers it, and he's like... Ah,
and then doesn't he, like...
I can't get him
he eats
right
one
now.
more egg. He's like...
But he had it, and it must be delicious for him.
I love it.
No, but that is exactly a child. Like...
Mm-hmm. Pushing boundaries.
Doesn't see him literally for 2 seconds, and the house is covered in paint. Like just immediately happens.
Ridiculous. You said you heard some news.
So we should have gotten to it with the Trump stuff with Steve Bannon, but this is good because we could just make it its own segment. So we know Steve Bannon, right? You know Steve Bannon. Let's just talk about him just a little bit. He was the first. What was his official?
He was a campaign
position?
manager.
No, but he had a White House position after.
Official ball licker.
Nah, he's not a ball licker because that's why he got fired. He tried to push Trump around. He was
an advisor or something like that, right?
Chief strategist. That's a real job. That was not a made position. So he was chief strategist. He got fired for maybe many number of reasons, but he has an open case that was going because he was taking donations for the Build a Wall.
The fraud on the Build a Wall.
He probably bought hookers and coke with it, right? So like he spends it.
He got busted on the yacht that he bought from all this.
So obviously he's doing exactly what I thought then, right? He's with it. Well, this guy is also psycho. I think he also started a news media group way back in the day that he's famous for. Is that
Breitbart?
Breitbart. Okay, so he's a psychopath. Now less of a psychopath. Actually, it's not fair to say. I believe he believes in everything he says. He's a man of his convictions, and he's serious about it.
Oh yeah.
He
actually has an ideology.
To me, he is the scary Trump. If he came after Trump, we would have a problem because Trump is creating a power vacuum where people are going to understand you can play on someone's
If he had Trump's charisma, then he would be the...
But he doesn't, because you know what he did? He is literally in a production meeting with I don't know what news group. His lawyers are in there, and they're talking about, it's his news show. He has a show.
Are you talking about the beheading comments? Yeah. So he was live streaming his show called War Room Pandemic.
Ooh.
And he made
He's
comments.
all war roomed up. He basically says that any dissenters, we should put their head on a pike. And he said, I would put them outside the White House on the left and the right. We'd put Fauci's head up there. Fauci. Thank you. And a little Fauci. I like a little Fauci.
That sounds like a new rapper.
He's much cooler as Fauci.
And
he said he was like, I would just cut that little man's and the
Ray,
director, whatever director. To me, the bigger thing was his lawyers that are representing him on a different case. They were just like, okay,
they're like, yeah,
I'm gonna keep the retainer. You can have all the work. You got to find someone else. You're insane. I cannot win this case. Like, they bet like
you go full Dracula.
Exactly. Well, he thinks he's Vlad the Impaler.
So like, what was he talking about? Like, who does he want to put up on?
Any dissenters.
Just anybody.
Anybody who's against.
Against what?
Against his idea of pushing his democracy forward.
Okay, so Donald Trump Jr. said that the president should go to total war over the election, and this was basically like
Wait,
banning.
Trump Jr.
Say it again.
has the best Twitter.
Trump
there is.
Jr. said that the president should go to total war over the election. And this Bannon's message came like as part of that aggressive like rhetoric because
And he
Donald
made
Trump's
it
so
onto
safe.
main news media before he made this comment. Maybe hours before or the day before on Fox and other things. Kind of basically he's representing, I guess, the radical side. He doesn't know it when he's on there, but they're kind of like, he's basically, are you guys going to fight after this? Are you going to accept the presidency? Are you going to accept the results?
I mean, he's the future of the Trump, like, whatever.
No, that's what he wanted it to be, but Trump
Yeah.
took it over. Trump trashed him, actually.
Well, you're talking about Bannon stuff.
Yeah, Bannon,
Unless
yeah.
you're talking about Don Jr.
Oh, no. Don Jr., yeah. Don Jr.'s Twitter is insane.
I've heard it's pretty crazy.
It's insane.
I just don't like to follow those guys. 'Cause
I
it's
don't
gonna-
follow those guys, yeah.
I'll read some crazy things that anybody says from time to time, but I just can't. There was one point I was like following everything. It's just so tiring. You can't do it forever.
No. I don't follow him. I just hear the highlights every now and then. I heard a lot of stuff during the election time.
He definitely retweeted Jorge Masvidal's
Yeah,
like
they all
sounds a
did.
lot like Nazi Germany fucking tweet. I hate it here.
So Bannon basically said some wild shit and got in trouble.
The thing is, it's all bullshit at the end of the day because no one's fighting today. Tells me that they're not about it. Like, everyone is still mostly normal.
Dude,
Everyone is still mostly normal.
so then it's just gonna be Trump.
It's just,
being
it
Trump for
depends
the
on
next,
your
like,
leader.
couple
You'll-
weeks, whatever.
Yeah, we got to deal with tantrum child. It's going to get less and less. He's going to go back to eating pizza. He's going to go back to playing golf.
Banging hookers.
Here's the thing. I don't think no stimulus. He was saying that it'll be a black mark on his legacy, putting more debt, which is bad. So then
Now that's what he's saying.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna pay y'all shit.
he was like, I'm going to pass the biggest bill ever when
Yeah.
I win. He was like,
And now he's like, well, y'all didn't pick me, so fuck you guys.
right.
Piece
Whatever.
of shit.
Maybe politics will get a little normal again. I can quit paying
Everybody's
attention.
gonna fall back asleep. Although it'd be different now because everybody's like so.
No, I mean, I guess
everybody's watching.
you can't
politics.
fall asleep. The Georgia runoff is going to be probably the next most important election seat since the presidency. Is going to decide control of the Senate. I mean, he's not going to win. The
Mitch
Democrats not.
McConnell won,
Yeah, of course.
which was crazy because like Mitch McConnell, Lindsey Graham, all these polls were showing that they were supposed to like get blown out or they might lose. And they
McConnell?
won. Yeah,
They said?
yeah, and they won fine.
Well, at least McConnell's opponent got no money, and they did amazing. Collins' opponent got
Harrison.
$100 million and did no better. So, like, apparently money doesn't make
You talking
a
about
difference.
Harrison's with
Yeah,
Lindsey
yeah,
Graham?
Yeah.
Yeah, 100 million and he lost by the same exact margin that the person that went against him last time that did not spend like 100,000 or something.
$100,000. So, like, money possibly makes no difference. So, poll's done. But also the runoff, why he won't win is because there is a runoff because there was two Republican candidates. One got 26%, one got 20%, and the Democratic candidate got something like 36%. Well, this time the Republican candidate is going to get it's going to get 46% and just trash this guy. So it'll be over.
It's so ridiculous. We had some articles.
Well, we have one that I want to talk about because who the fuck is rolling jujitsu inside a car? Why is this a
Car-jitsu?
sport? Why is car jujitsu a sport?
It's actually hold on.
Hold on, about what? You
I thought-
seen it?
No, I
You
thought
haven't
you
seen
wanted. I thought you wanted to stop. All right, we'll keep
No.
going.
I've seen it.
I haven't seen Car-Jitsu.
It's terrible.
Well, actually, I saw that little video we saw. So basically, it's like you're in your gi
And
you're
you're
in a car,
seatbelted.
and yeah, you're seatbelted, and they're like, go, and then you have to like take off your seatbelt and then try to like do jujitsu. And it's crazy. Why? Just
No.
do jujitsu.
Because none
But
of
you're
these
not
guys.
a gi. It's a no gi.
No. That's the new one. Is
No.
the new one is no-gi car BJJ. The new one, because the first
Trying
one
to do leg locks and
they're
shit.
like trying to choke each other out from the.
Yeah,
This is why it's not real. What did I say the first day? I was like, You say go. I'm gonna get out the car. My first move is to step out the car.
Yeah, why am I
Let
gonna
us
fight in the
begin
car?
to fight now.
Yeah.
I was like,
Why am I gonna fight in the car? I said that I would just try to punch you instead of doing jiu-jitsu.
oh, bugger!
Fuck out of here.
No, yeah, that's why I'm gonna get
But
out the car
so-
and drag you out and beat the shit out of you.
What is this? This is is this a is this a
How does something like that start?
like was this a TikTok or
It's
what
like
was it?
I don't know, but it's like an up the ante kind of thing. Like mats are too easy, so let's make it more. Let's make it more
You know
difficult.
what's crazy is those guys suck at jujitsu. I wanna roll against one of those guys regular. Are you good at jujitsu when you can use your whole body, or are you better when you're sitting in a
Can
chair?
you win when you're not fighting in a car? Seatbelted.
See, so a better change to the rules than adding a car is adding heel hooks to competition, which is what
Yes.
they're doing now.
IBJJF they just like launched
Brown and black belts. I guess so. Is knee reaping allowed at all belts though? Just not the heel hook.
yes.
Yeah, the reap is allowed, so you won't get DQ'd from the position, but only brown and black belts can do.
I mean,
the
this
heel
changes
hook.
the-
But that's just no-gi also, I believe.
This changes like gi competition.
Changes it completely.
Uh,
Completely changes
not,
it.
it just adds more leg locks and adds that game into like gi competition.
So what's crazy is I watched an interview of Andre Galvao, and he's saying how it's good. And a lot of guys are saying how it's good, but Andre Galvao says this is actually a super old school rule. He was like,
They just bring it back.
back in the 90s, everything was allowed at all belts. And what happens is a lot of guys were getting injured. And that's because the IBJJF was starting to become a thing. They started putting rules in. So after the 90s, they took it out. And that's what happened is like kind of the loss of the legs because it wasn't in there. But Andre made some good points that I agree with is basically you're getting hurt because you're not training it. You don't know it. You don't know it. I mean, it's only 3 reasons you get super bad injuries is your ego. You didn't tap when you should have tapped. 2, you don't train the position, so you don't know it. You don't know what's happening. And then there's accidents.
Yeah, like random
And
shit.
then there's accidents, right? So this will change 2 of those things.
What was the change? Like heel hooks?
You can now heel hook at brown and black in no-gi competition, and knee reaping is not a disqualification anymore.
Because before, like you would just go into the reap, or people would place their like feet like in
You
that
would
position.
not be in the reap. Like if you watch some Lucas Lepre, there's many people, not just point him out, but let's say he's a big name, so it's easy to find. If he was in competition, you were kind of like in an ankle lock. He would just grab your foot, take it off his hip, and push it over his knee, and then point to the ref like this.
Like, hey, he's raping me.
Whistle. Over. Lucas wins next match. Like he would beat easy opponents like that. Like but there's lots of things like that will be gone, and that will add a whole new game.
For sure. I mean, it changes it would more of like their no-gi like gameplay like falls into
People thought the
gi.
legs were growing because Danaher introduced new legs and he made all the best shit ever. We're about to see the legs grow for real now. He is not the best mind in jiu-jitsu now that I think about it. He has a great mind. He has a great way of structuring it. Now that it's open to the public, like everyone is going to start doing it because that's really the thing is like if I play football, I want to be in the NFL. I'm not going to do XFL rules. Some shitty fucking... I'm going to do the big ones rules. Same thing. That's what happened with IBJJF is like they run the biggest tournaments, the most rules, so people are going to train that type of jiu-jitsu. Now that they've
I
opened
mean, that's
their
the standard.
Now that they've opened their jiu-jitsu up, the legs will grow on top of that. And it's already been growing.
You'll see people that are predominantly no-gi players maybe start going into gi.
Well, I don't think there's heel hooks in the gi yet.
I thought that was one.
No.
No.
Just no-gi.
Just no-gi.
Just
I see.
no-gi. But even in no-gi, it wasn't allowed, which is crazy at brown and black. That's ridiculous. But good changes. I'm excited.
I'm for it.
Me too. I like the legs.
I wish I had the knees for the legs. My knee's not that healthy.
We'll get you.
I do like it though.
We'll get you
it's
there.
it's
not
a
there.
very fun game.
Yeah, to me, it's the great equalizer. There's like guys you can't maybe break down, and if
You can catch a leg.
if you add this to it, maybe the rest of the game is.
It's
more
the biggest
open.
gap in like everybody's game.
For sure.